For this lesson, we're going to be graphing inequalities on a number line. So there's 4 symbols that you really need to know. Less than is this symbol, and it kind of looks like an L, doesn't it? If I straighten that up a little bit, it would actually look like an L. So that's how it helps me remember it. And then we have a less than or equal to. Less than or equal to. We have greater than and greater than or equal to. So when we're graphing these, our less than is going to be an open circle because it will not include the number that's in the inequality. Our greater than will be an open circle when we're graphing them. For the less than, notice or equal to, or equal to. That means it's going to be a closed circle because it will include the number that's in the inequality for both of these. Okay, so let's take a look at one. We have x is greater than 3. Well, I know that I'm going to go ahead on my number line. I'm going to find 3 and I'm going to put an open circle. And so it said that x is greater than 3. So that means that it's going to be all the numbers, and it's a solid line because it could be even fraction numbers. It doesn't have to be just the numbers that, the whole numbers that are there. Okay, so let's take a look at number 2. Number 2 is c is greater than or equal to a negative 2. Okay, so when I'm looking at this, here is my negative 2, and since it's greater than or equal to, I'm putting a closed circle. And now I'm going to, if it's greater than a negative 2, I know that it's going to go to the right. And I'm going to start shading here. And when I put an arrow at the end, that means it just keeps going on, just like the number line keeps going on. So we can always pick a number to see if it's true. And I think I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pick a 2. So I'm checking this. Is 2 greater than or equal to negative 2? Absolutely. So we know we did that right. All right, so let's look at number 3. Y is less than or equal to 4. All right, well, I'm going to my 4. It's right here. I know it's going to be a closed circle. Well, if y is less than or equal to 4, I know less than is going to go in this direction. And notice I am going to double check. I think I'll pick a 1. So is 1 less than or equal to 4? Absolutely. We know we did it correct. For number 4, n is less than 0. Less than. It's going to be an open circle. And if n is less than 0, it's going to go only toward the negative numbers. And again, I can go ahead and I can pick out a negative 3. Is negative 3 less than 0? Yes. Any numbers that are on this side of the number line are less than 0. Okay, so let's look at number 4. It's number 5. It's 2 is less than or equal to x. So looking at this, do you notice that it's in a different order than the rest of these? These all had the variable first. And when the variable was first, if you look at the sign is actually pointing the way that we shaded from the point, isn't it? Notice here is our symbol and it's pointing. Let's shade to the larger numbers for the negative 2. But when we have something that like this, we have to be really careful. So we can go ahead and we're going to graph it without changing it around. And then I'm going to show you a really simple way to change this around. So it's always where the symbol tells you where to shade. So for this one, 2 is less than or equal to x. So notice it's less than or equal to, and it's a 2. So I'm putting a closed circle. So now to help me decide, I think I'll try a 0. Is 2 less than 0? No, it's not, is it? So now I'm going to try a 4. Is 2 less than or equal to 4? It is. So we are shading going this direction. So when you're looking at it, while these are pointed in the direction that you would shade, when the variable is not given first, it ends up being in the opposite direction. And we can just do a simple one-step thing to help us have it like we're used to seeing it. We can put our X here, and we can put our 2 here. Did they just change their location? Yeah, they did. So then guess what? We are going to flip our sign. See how this opens up to the X and this one opens up to the X? So we know that we rewrote it right. And I'm going to rewrite it again now that I made those marks because it's really hard to see. So this and this is the same. The reason it helps you to have the variable on the left is, look, it's telling you, please shade this direction. But remember, we'll always check our numbers. Okay, looking at this one. -1 is greater than or equal to y. So greater than or equal to, it is definitely going to be a closed circle. And now at my -1, it says -1 is greater than or equal to y. Well, if I put a 2 there, -1 is not greater than 2, is it? So when I'm looking at this, I'm going to check a -5. -1 is greater than or equal to a -5. And that is true because the further away from 0 that you get, the smaller the number is. So the -1 is a larger number than -5. So let's try my little trick. Let's just change their order. Here's a y. Here's my -1. Well, I changed their order, so now I've got to flip the signs. And it says y is less than or equal to -1. And notice, when the variable is on the left, it is pointing, the sign is pointing to where you should shade. But always pick a number, substitute it in to see if your shading makes sense. If this video was helpful to you today, please add a like, comment, and most importantly, subscribe for more Math with Marcia. See you again soon.